Hi everybody, today we are talking about lesson 5.2, numerical expressions. So we will be on page 269 in your workbook, 5.2, page 269. All right, let me flip you around here and we will get started. So a numerical expression is a combination of numbers and at least one operation. So Um, this would be an example of a numerical expression, a kind of complicated one, but we see 4 squared plus 7 divided by 3 minus 1. To evaluate a numerical expression, you find its value. A numerical expression can be evaluated using the order of operations. Order of operations. Remember, that is PEMDAS. And it's a set of rules that tell us what order we need to actually complete the problem in. So when we look at this, right, the order of operations, we start with the parentheses. So in this example here, we would start with that 3 minus 1. Then we would go to our exponent, which is the 4 squared. Then we would multiply or divide. Well, in this case, we have a division problem. And then we would add and subtract. So then we would finally do it, that part of the problem there. So this is kind of our order that we would use for doing this. Now, when we're taking a look at an expression, let's take a look at this one. I kind of think about it like a upside down pyramid. So it starts really wide, and as we're completing the expression, it gets very narrow until we get to a single answer down at the bottom. So when we look at this problem here, the first step, remember, is to do your parentheses or any sort of bracket. And not necessarily has to be parentheses. It could be a bracket like this. It could be a bracket like that. Something that signifies that these items need to be held together. So in this case, it is parentheses. We start with the 14 minus 9, which is 5. The next step would then be to go to your exponent. 6 squared is 36. Our next step, because there are no more parentheses or exponents, would be then to multiply and divide. And we do that in order from left to right. So I'm going to start by doing this one because that's the first one that I see. Look at it like a sentence and you do whatever comes first. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. Then we would do our 5 times 2, which is 10. Then we can add and subtract. Remember, working left to right, 36 minus 4, which is 32, then we add our 10, which is 42. Now, what would be different if we didn't do it in that order? Well, things would change quite a bit. Instead of doing 36 minus 4, what if I added this first? Then it would be 14. We'd get 36 minus 14, which would change the value quite a lot. So make sure that you're working, if you have both subtraction and addition, you're working left to right. Don't add first. Don't multiply first. It has to go in the order that it comes in the expression, starting at the left, working to the right. So that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that students make. All right, turning the page to example 1, we're going to evaluate this expression. So like I said, start with your parentheses, 6 plus 4. Well, if we do start with that, starting with that 6 plus 4, right, we get a 10, okay? Then we would do our exponent, 3 squared, which would then be 9. Now we can multiply. 9 times 10 is 90. Now, working left to right, subtract and then add. 100 minus 90 is 10. Then we add our 2 to get 12. So the value here would be 12. All right. Now, when we look at this next one, this check, we have multiple brackets in here, and you want to start at the very center here. Start at the very, very center. And before we can do the bracket, we actually have to do the exponent here. So it's a little bit more confusing. But you'd actually want to start with this 2 to the third power because it's inside the bracket. And before you can do what's inside the bracket, you have to do this first. So go ahead and pause the video here and see if you can solve. All right, so as we're solving this problem, 23 minus 8 plus, well, we're going to do 2 to the third power first. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So 8 plus 8 times 2 plus 10. Now we're going to do what's in this most inner bracket. 8 plus 8 is 16. So now we have 23 minus 16. Okay, so we'll do what's in this bracket now. 23 minus 16 is 7. Then we do our 7 times 2, which is 14, plus 10. 24 or 14 plus 10, the answer would be 24 for that expression there. So that's what you should have gotten for your answer to this expression. All right, moving on to example 2. Now we're dealing with some fractions and exponents inside our parentheses. Nothing changes though, okay? So remember, the first thing that we're going to do is actually do our exponent, which is in here, okay? So that would become 64. 8 times 8 is 64. Then we divide by 2/5. Remember, when we're dividing 64, put it over a 1, you keep, change, flip, okay? And you can simplify. 2 goes in to 64. Let's see, 32 times. Then we do 32 times 5, okay, which apparently is 160. Okay. Then we multiply by 2 to get 320. Then we add 5 to get 325. So this would be our final answer to this problem here. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to your check down here. So once again, go ahead and pause the video and answer the question here. So when you start this problem, start inside the parentheses. 2 to the 4th power is 16. That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, minus 3. So that minus 3 will come next, 13. We have 8.2 times 13 plus 8. So we need to do our 8.2 times 13. I'm going to do it off to the side. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 8 is 24. Magic 0, 2, 8. Add 6, 6, 10, and we have 1 decimal place. Okay, we get 106.6 plus 8. So then we add in our 8 here, and we would get 114.6 as our final answer to that expression there. All right, so now let's talk about writing numerical expressions. So in a real-world situation where one or more operations occur, you can write an expression to represent the situation. Suppose Mariana and her friends are buying snacks at a hockey game. The hot dogs cost $4, boxes of popcorn cost $2, and drinks cost $2.50. The expression below represents the total cost of 4 hot dogs, 3 boxes of popcorn, and 2 drinks. So notice, we put the hot dogs in parentheses. What the cost is times how much you're buying. For the popcorn, what the cost is times how much you're buying. And the drinks, cost times how much you're buying. And then we add them all together to find that total cost. So let's talk about how we could actually write it ourselves. Paula is shopping 4 items shown in the table. We can write an expression to represent the total cost of 5 lotions, 2 candles, and 4 lip balms. Now, the cost of lotions. If the lotion costs $5 and you're buying 5 of them, you're multiplying 5 times 5, which we can simplify to say 5 squared. Then we take the cost of the candles. How many are we purchasing? 2. What is their cost? $7.80. And remember, whenever we're finding cost, we multiply them together. Then finally, we take the lip balm cost and how many we're buying. So 4 times $2.49. And then we add each of these together. So now what you would do is you would actually solve it. 5 squared, right? 25. 2 times $7.80. Here, got to move up a little bit. And be 0, 16, 14, 15. This would be $15.60. And then 249 times 4, 36. 4 times 4 is 1619. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 996. Okay. Then we would add them all together and get our total cost of $50.56. So when we're doing this, remember, we take how much we're buying times the cost, how much we're buying times the cost, how much we're buying times the cost, and then we add them together. So that's how we write the expression. And then to solve, we just go through the motions of it. So let's take a look at our check on the top of page 272. It says tickets to a play cost $10.50 for adult members of the theater, $19.95 for adult non-members, and $8 for students. Suppose 4 non-members, 2 members, and 8 students are buying tickets for the play. Which expression could be used to find the total cost of tickets? So I'm going to have you pause here. You're going to go ahead and try to solve it on your own and find the total cost. Then you can resume and check your answer. So in this case, because we're buying 4 non-members, which would be 4 times $19.95, 2 members, which are $2.50, and 8 students, we would choose, oops, sorry, not this one. Or yes, this one, sorry. We would choose B for that choice, okay? And then we would actually find the total cost. 8 times 8 is 64. So I'm going to start at the end there and write that down. We're going to do 4 times $19.95, which should be 4 times that, 36, 38, 39, and 79.80. And then we would do 2 times $10.50. So that would be $21. And then we add them all together. 21 plus 64 would be 85. And we'd add that on here. So that's $164.80 would be our total cost for those tickets. All right, moving along to your apply problem on the next page, 273. An art store sells different size art kits that include crayons and sketch pads. The table shows the number of boxes of crayons and sketch pads in each kit. A school buys 30 small, 35 medium, and 10 large art kits. Then they return 11 medium art kits. How many boxes of crayons and sketch pads do they have in all? So for this problem, you need to begin by writing out your expression for this. Okay, so using parentheses. Remember, if you're returning, you're probably subtracting some. Okay, and with that, then go ahead and find the answer. So if you're doing the Nearpod version of this, make sure you answer it in there. If you're just watching a video, that's fine, and you can email me the answer to let me know that you have done it. All right, folks. So that's all we have for today. Please make sure to complete your homework on McGraw-Hill. And I hope you have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.